Howdy, everybody. I'm Jason Salas. Now, Guam obviously has a very, very long and productive and rich history with our friends in the military. And every time we have one of our commanders outgoing, that means we welcome in with open arms and the Hafide spirit a new era of leadership. But we also say a very heartfelt adios to those who are leaving. And we have two such gentlemen here from a very, very important part of our military here, the United States Coast Guard. So we have Captain Nick Simmons and Captain Rob Kistner, the incoming commander and the outgoing commander. All right, gentlemen, first of all, I say this like all the time. I told you guys when we were talking like the other day, thank you for your service. Never get tired of saying that.
Well, Hafide and Tiro Caesar Masi for having us here, Jason. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to talk about what the Coast Guard does and our relationship with the region, not just Guam and CNMI, but all of Micronesia. So it's
very important distinction to be made, because it's not just Guam that is your essentially patrol sector. Would that be the right? That's a lot of water to cover.
Yeah, we use the term area of responsibility, or AOR is the acronym, but yeah, we are assigned 1.9 million square miles of ocean to patrol and be responsible for, which includes the totality of the Federated States of Micronesia and Palau as independent countries.
And Captain, you were actually coming over here from the Honolulu district previously.
Correct, yeah. I was part of the prevention staff of District 14 and had the opportunity to come out here and fill in for Nick for a little while.
All right, so for the uninitiated, or for those of us who have not served, what is the transition process like when you have, someone with an officer with several years of experience here? You get to know the culture, you ingrain yourself with like our island way of life, and how you actually transition to new leadership.
So we were literally talking about that on the drive over here.
Nice.
About, we've been going through the relief process. That's the term we use, and we have our shipmates create these binders with all the kind of the details. Like,
well, your motto is always ready.
Always ready, semper paratus, right? Always, and so they do like a one page, like here's the high level stuff, and here's the 3-inch binder full of things. But really, the idea is to capture the wave tops of the issues we've dealt with, the operations. But for a place like this, it's been really important for me to take Rob around. We went to Palau, we went to Saipan, we've been all over Guam. We just met with some members of the legislature to start to understand the relationship we have with the community, the Infomalic spirit that we have here in Guam, and just perceive that. You can't get it all right in 2 weeks, but you can get enough of that flavor to know where the compass needle points as far as the next few years.
And Captain, I would say like as someone who grew up here like locally, we've always had so much reverence for the Coast Guard in any branch of service, but specifically because you guys work out on the water and you have that, you're saving lives, you're doing a lot of things that a lot of us civilians don't think about. Sure. And it's dangerous situations, you're helping out people on the water. What are some of the challenges that you see coming into this, and based on that briefing, what you come into in the environment?
Well, the first challenge for anybody who's taking over new command is just getting up to speed. So we talked about the briefing binders, and when you enter a new command, there's only so much time that you have to kind of get a sense of the scope of everything that a Coast Guard sector does. That awareness is critical, but you enter into the job knowing I don't know what all the challenges are in detail. I don't know what all the risks are, but I know that I have a great team that's going to be able to help me through this transitionary period, and that we'll be able to meet the challenges that are coming for us.
And like I said, any Islander has so much respect, and we have a special place in our heart for any Coastie, because you guys are waterborne and you serve on water. So you're already our favorite people.
Well, we appreciate that, and you're our favorite people too. I had the chance on Sunday. We did the National Safe Boating Week proclamation with the Lieutenant Governor, the Acting Governor, and the legislature. And the LT gave me the microphone and asked me to talk about just my experience here. And I told him there's no place I'd rather serve. And in my perspective, there's no place where a Coast Guard member can come and have a greater impact on their local community, on the service, and on our national security. And I hardly believe that. And the other piece I'll say, this is going to be a shameless pitch for the Coast Guard, right? But
sure.
People love to serve where they're from, and you've heard me say this before. If you're from Florida, you can join and serve in Florida. If you're from California, you can join and serve in California. If you're from Guam, you can join and serve in Guam, whether it's in the Coast Guard Reserve or as an active duty member. There are lots of opportunities to join and be part of the great community of Coast Guard members who are here serving this local region.
All right, and as for where your next duty station will be, you're heading from Guam to DC, and I know you love empanada, so you're giving up empanada and embracing crab cakes.
I'm not giving giving up Empanada. I refuse.
There you go.
There's actually a guy, so Freddie Hofschneider, who was the last commanding officer of the Oliver Henry, who's from Tinian. He's actually in the same office that I'm going to, so he's going to work for me again. I'm not sure if he's happy or sad about it. But I've already told him, like, we're going to bring a little bit of that. We're going to work up a monthly barbecue of some kind in the office. And if he can figure out Empanada, I'll figure out short ribs. He's already got the red rice figured out. So we're going to bring that spirit to the local office. I'm going to the Office of Budget Programs at Coast Guard headquarters. So it's going to be a different sort of challenge than what I've done here, but looking forward to the transition.
All right, Captain Kistner, have we kept you well fed and at this point?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Among the risks of coming into this new job, it's definitely not keeping yourself fed and definitely not being welcomed by the folks.
Is there any particular dish that you really are into? Red rice is always like an easy one.
So I haven't had any red rice yet. I'm trying to think of, I'm open to so much that I'm just looking forward to exploring all the food of the island.
There you go. Well, you have many, many different options. It's island hospitality. We would like you to indulge in as many of them as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Can I ask you guys something? Because I've never asked this of any Coast Guardsman, right?
Uh-oh.
I have been saying on this very set for years that, we have, bar none, I will put my reputation of 25 years as a broadcaster on the line here. We have the best sunsets anywhere in the world, bar none. How is it like to actually, you may be out on the water, on a shift or, maybe responding to some situation, but to actually see the sunset over the Pacific when you're out on the water and you get that calm and, phones aren't going off and, you don't get a million people trying to vie for your attention and you actually just take that in.
So I love that question. I've got 11 years at sea, right? I've done 5 ships and I've seen a lot of sunrises and sunsets on the ocean. And I'll tell you, the ones here in Guam from the land are equivalent in magnificence to the ones you see at sea, even far, far away. But what I'll tell you is, when you're at sea, just like folks who live on an island who see it all the time, right? It's like, oh, it's 6:30 in the sunset, and no, it's hot outside. I'm going to stay inside. You lose that desire to go and experience that. And I'll tell you, as I'm transitioning, as our family's preparing to transition, we're very diligent to go and make the most of our experience here. So we're seeing a lot of sunsets right now. But I'll tell you, you're not missing anything from Guam that you would necessarily get out on a ship, except for maybe seasick. I don't know.
And hopefully your successor will be sending you pictures every now and then of the sunset.
They don't even look real, right? It's like, this has got to be doctored. You're looking at it and then you take a picture and you can't capture it.
All right. So and again, Captain, with the responsibilities that lay ahead for you, a lot of it is also integrated with you've got to work with government, you've got to work with the civilian community. What are some of the plans you have maybe for the first 30 days that you can disclose?
Well, so nothing in terms of concrete plans beyond. One of the most important things that you do when you come into a new sector is make sure you understand who your partners are, and also how to maintain that great relationship with them. So we've had some opportunities of that already. Captain Simmons has been kind enough to kind of take me all over town. We met with our port partners in Saipan when we were there. We're having a meeting with our port partners here tomorrow, I believe it is. Establishing that relationship and maintaining that relationship. And I think that was one of the Coast Guard's strengths as an organization, is that we are a group that brings organizations together. We have kind of some fodder to do that with. We have our harbor safety committees. We have our area maritime safety committees. Our area committees, they're all forums that create an impetus for partners to come together. And then once we can get them together, I think the Coast Guard does an amazing job of helping everyone's different viewpoints and needs be collectively met and fulfilled.
Absolutely agree, 100%. And I just want to say that we're here for you, to help get the word out, to help, because you guys have our back out on the water and on land and everything. So, Captain, we have greatly appreciated working with you, and Captain, we very, very much look forward to working with you as well. Okay. Final question, right? I wasn't even planning on doing this, but I'm a huge nerd for any number of reasons, right? Specifically for movies. And I've always considered it a great honor to interview anyone who's in the service, right? From, airman all the way up to general, right? I always ask anyone who's in the military what their favorite movie is for their branch of service. As far as I know, you guys have one, The Protector.
Oh, the Guardian.
Oh, The Guardian. I'm sorry. Yeah, The Guardian,
okay.
with Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. Great movie. If you're only going to have one film, that's a really good one to have.
Yeah, so I'm going to blow your mind. You ready for this?
Yeah, yes, please, sir.
So we were talking on the way in here about Andy Griffith, right? So most people don't know this, but there's a movie from the 1950s called Onion Head. Andy Griffith is a cook on a Coast Guard buoy tender in the Pacific, either during or immediately following World War II. So
Really?
go find the movie Onion Head and watch Andy Griffith, prior to the Andy Griffith Show, serve as a Coast Guard cook on a Coast Guard buoy tender. True story.
Very nice.
That's impressive. He's continuing to educate me.
I see the
as we
smoke
go
coming
through
out of
this
your
week.
ears. So that,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I think maybe Sarah's even over there like, what are you talking about?
I
You familiar with
always,
that one?
I always thought it was like, okay, The Guardian was like the one movie for the Coast Guard, and that's a phenomenal movie again.
And I love the Coast Guard. What's the other one that came out? That's
The Bernie Weber movie.
Yeah,
Chris Pine played the part of Bernie Weber. And
Finest Hours?
yeah, The Finest Hour.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another, The Perfect Storm is a bit of going back a bit,
Yeah.
that's a bit of a Coast Guard movie as well. Showcases a rescue of a sailing boat.
Yeah, you've got the Air Force PJs and the pararescue troopers in there, but yeah, Coast Guard played a major part in that.
I'll
So.
give you one more. Have you ever watched Captain Ron? The movie Captain Ron?
Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, no, the end is the Coast Guard comes and saves the day. True story.
There you go. See, continuing to serve, continuing to pass down knowledge. I mean, as trivial as this is the commitment of these Coast Guardsmen and the 350 of their compatriots who also serve right here on the island. So, gentlemen, Captain Simmons, it has been an honor, and
pleasure.
Captain Kistner, again, we really look forward to working with the both of you. We say adios, but we never say goodbye. Amen. That's one thing that we like to do. So, thank you again, gentlemen, for your service. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
All right.